I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to the show. I'm your host, Dano. You guys, tonight, I got a great guest with us. I got a guy who I've seen in the chat quite a few times. He's become a pretty good friend of mine, and his name's Joshua. So we'll bring in him on in a second. But before we do, you guys, thank you for all the support you show the channel. Doing some new things on the backside of the channel. So hopefully we'll hit that magical river called the algorithm with YouTube and get out to more people. But before I do, you guys, I just want to say thank you. And if you guys have had an encounter you'd like to come on the show, please shoot me an email at thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Again, it's thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Also, don't forget that my buddy Josh Smith from Mysteries Unknown and I have combined forces to create Mysteries and Cryptids. You can check us out at mysteriesandcryptids.com. That's the website. We're still working on some stuff in there, but you can kind of go around and navigate and check some things out. You guys are working on a podcast specifically for the website. And yeah, so again, check it out, www.mysteriesandcryptids.com. You guys, let's get this guest on here. Josh, I'm telling you, he has had some amazing encounters starting in 99 and ending in 2019. So let's bring Josh on the show. Buddy, what's going on?
What's up, everyone?
Man, it took us a while to get to this point in time through technical difficulties and bonehead accidents, or not accidents, just not me paying attention. And yeah, so so you said pretty much going back to 99, you had encounters not only with Bigfoot, but you had one with, you believed to be a flying cryptid, and then you went to Colorado for a camping trip, and something amazing happened. Well, depends on how you look at it. But one I also find very fascinating is that in 2005, you believe you had an encounter with gnomes. So
Yep.
I'm just going to, we kind of went down the order to go through. So starting in 99, work your way down and let's hear these stories. I'll hang out here with you if you want. If not, I'll do what I normally do.
You can hang out if you want.
Let's go.
All right. Well, back in 99, we had moved into a new house about 3 years before that. And I was just learning the property up behind our house. This is southeast Iowa. And I'm out hunting alone with my dog. We found this dog. He was like a farm dog. But anyhow, I was out squirrel hunting and I was sitting up against a tree. And I saw something off to my right that flickered in movement, and I was like, is that a deer or something? And I was like, oh crap, there's probably cows back here. So I got up and I started moving around, and I ended up getting really lost in these woods. Like, I was not supposed to be out that far. I'd said don't cross the fence, and I'd done crossed the fence a while back and got way lost. And I figured my best bet would be following the creek home. Well, I started panicking because the sun started going down, and my dog and I were just like, I'm crying at this point. Like, help me. Like, someone please help me. I am lost in these woods. Can someone lead me home? Like, I am panicking. And I hit the creek bottom that I thought was the one to home. But after I got to the creek bottom, I ended up going up the other embankment. But when I went up into the other embankment, something like startled my dog enough to make him stop dead in his tracks and stare at this bush and this tree. This tree was set there, and this monoflorous rose was all around it. Thorn bushes was like covering this base of this tree. And as I was standing there, something's like peeked out from behind the tree, and I was like, is that a big ass cow? Because there's cattle back there. Like, you have to be careful about the bulls. And there wasn't no cow peeking around at me. And it like smacked the tree, and it freaked me out and my dog out, and it scared me back down to the creek bottom. And when I went back down to the creek bottom, iron pyrite, fool's gold.
Mm-hmm.
I was up the creek enough that I was also by these old coal mines that used to be in the county. And there was an old stone bridge that went there, and the further you got down in there, you could find old homesteads and old dirt road that went through and everything. Like you could find foundations for old houses, like that have been long gone. But up by there, I didn't know I was that deep out there. But I found this iron pyrite, and it was in the shape of an arrow pointing down the creek. And I started following these down the creek, and I ended up getting back to my own creek bottom, and then back to home just around like 9 o'clock at night. And this was like mid-November, squirrel hunting. Man, like I really believe like it scared me down there to show me those arrows. Like if I think it was Bigfoot, like for real, because we had other encounters my dad would have. He would sit there and we would deer hunt out there. We would get a kill. We would go and tag it, like tie an orange ribbon right where it's at, go get the equipment to drag it out. By the time we got back to where the tag is, the deer's gone. No explanation twice to where this 300-pound to 280-pound deer has just disappeared to. Like it didn't get up and walk off. It was dead right there. We just looked at it. We would find hair up in the thorn trees, the hawthorn trees. We would find the hair up in there about 6-7 foot up in the air sometimes. Just deer fur. That's what my dad's stories. He would tell me, like he just disappearing deer out there. He has also seen eyes of it in the field once. But like I really believe the Bigfoot led me home that day. Like it scared me down into the creek.
And how
And
old were
then
you?
another time, going a little bit forward, this is the when I was out river fishing with the flying cryptid. I was out on the Des Moines River, and we were sitting up, and we were sitting on along tied up to a drift, and we had headlamps on with red lenses, and we had a couple boat lights on like you're supposed to, and we were night fishing off the back of the boat. And then we saw something coming up the creek that we thought was a small airplane with a small light, but like it started zigzagging across the river, and then it looked like it stopped in a tree for a minute, and like this light was just sitting there like shining, and me and my dad were looking at each other like, what the heck is that? Past it quietly. Like, so we started drifting down the river with no motor running and everything. And by this point, this thing took off out the tree. And I'm telling you, this thing had like a 7 foot wingspan and a glowing white horn that flew straight over our boat. And it took off right over towards the old stone mines that were right there, the old limestone mines. Like we in Iowa, we have a legend about the Van Meter monster, which is supposed to be like a flying dragon. But my more of impression was like it was like a freaking unicorn dragon kind of thing. Like it had like a glowing horn, and it just flew straight over the boat. Like it freaked us out. My dad pulled the boat motor, and we took off out there real quick. And then another time, me and some friends were all gathered up, and we probably saw the same thing in the same area while we were night fishing again. We were all bank fishing this time down by the rock quarry where they would dump the riffraff rock off into, where they would break up the highway and dump the stone down into the river. Well, we were hanging out down there by the river and stuff with just a lantern and a couple little spotlight headlights. And as I was looking around with mine, I saw a light coming up the river again, and I thought it was a boat this time because it was low on the water, not up in the air. And then it took off up a creek that was further that before it got to us, but it didn't make a sound at all. That reminded me of that one a lot. And then my other one with my gnomes, this one was where it gets crazy for me because like I'm shaking about it right now. Like this gnome one, like I was with a group of friends, and this time we had followed my creek bottom to the other way, and it leads straight to the mouth. It dumps into the Des Moines River, but it also passes a rock quarry that way. So we were going down to the rock quarry creek area. And then there's an old mine entrance right there that they've kind of had built up with a bunch of rubble that you could had to crawl over to get into and everything. And then we were chilling out, taking rock from there and building us a dam to swim in. And as we were taking the rock out and swimming and everything, we heard something like a monkey, like straight up go like chittering like a monkey. And like, where the heck was that chittering? Like, did you hear that? And my friend Trent, he was like, I didn't hear anything. I was like, I heard something. And uh, a few minutes later, like a pebble got thrown into the puddle right in front of us, like splashed right there. We both looked up on this ridge, and there was this guy about as tall as my knee. I'm 6 foot, and he's about as tall as my knee. And he's sitting there and he's spitting and sputtling at us, throwing rocks, and like trying to scare us out of there, shaking a stick. Like the best I could get was like, he's like, get out of here, you're in my spot, my territory. And as we took off and ran around, the only way past him was to go back up and up over that hill. Well, when we got up over that hill, I saw 3 more figures. One more about knee high again with longer hair, and 2 more about the middle of the shin high. And these guys were covered in like red squirrel fur and rabbit fur. Like they were fur covered, and they had like beaked noses. They looked like fucking.
Oh. Okay, go ahead.
They look like little imps. They look like little imps.
Okay.
And like, I never went back over there again. Like, that was too freaky. Like, they really look like little imps. And another one, this one is the Colorado incident, I call it. We, in a group of friends, we were out camping for an extended time in Roosevelt National Forest. Our first campsite had been attacked by a bear and just completely ransacked, like everything destroyed, like ransacked, and wrappers of food everywhere. The stuff was bent over, the trees and the shed that my friend had like brought out there on a camper. Like he made it on a a trailer base thing. That thing had its door ripped off by the bear. But that was a bear attack because we caught the bear there. But a week later, after we had moved campsites, I was walking down and scouting for campsites. And me and my friends, as we were walking around, we came down to this clearing area that had like this rock sitting right in the middle of it. And it looked like a table. And then it had right in the back of the area, it had like a bluff that was kind of like rounded off. And then off to the one side, there was a bunch of logs leaned on it. Like no other reason for these logs to be leaned there. And I started looking around on the ground, and there's like mushroom stems, and like there's some bones laying around, and there's a big pile of poop over in the corner. And I credit that to a bear, but the logs and the refuse, I don't know what else that is. But as I was looking at that stuff, I got an eerie feeling like we shouldn't be standing here. Like something else is looking at us as we're standing here. As I started looking around behind me, my friends were like, let's just knock these logs down and collect them. We'll use them for firewood later. I was like, we shouldn't touch these. I don't want to touch these. Like, I don't want to, like, this is something set these up here. Like, guys, like, something put this here. And they're like, no, this is purposely built, like, struck. And they're like, no, let's go ahead and knock it over. I'm like, okay, go ahead, guys. I'm going around here looking around. And I started to go, I walked off. I was walking around the camp, and I walked around behind the bluff and everything. By the time I got back to them, they had these like 9-10 logs that were all leaned up against the bluff, stacked in a pile. And all the brush off of it off to the side. But it straight up looked like a ramshackle lean-to a wild man would build with the brush amount on it. Like if you wanted to make yourself like a hidden away survival shelter, it would look like that. But this didn't have no human refuse around it. This had like bones and mushroom stems, and like even I think it had like a bobcat tail laying there. Like a little ball of bobcat fur. But as we were sitting there and stuff with the logs, I got an eerie feeling we're being watched again. I was like, guys, we got to get back to our main site so we can move down here because we're going to get out of the bear territory. So move camp. We moved camp down there, and like a couple days later, after we moved there, we went down to town to go pick up supplies for camp, and we got back around 10 o'clock at night. And when we came back, everything was destroyed but my tent. Everything was destroyed but my tent. All around it was destroyed. Like the guys who tore it up the most, Blake, his tent totaled. No food wrappers messed with. Food still in the wrap, everything. Like there's nothing like for this to be a bear attack at all because all the food was still in his tent, like he's not supposed to have. But my other friend, his tent was torn apart, and we were all in a circle. Like there's no reason for my tent to be standing besides like he watched me walk away and knew what one was mine. And destroyed their stuff because they straight up knocked it all down, put it there, and like in a pile and everything. And when we went back to move camp there, I felt like something was always around me too. I would be sitting there and just listening to the AM radio during the day, listening to stuff on, just listening to whatever, and I'd be often just like catch something out of the corner of my eye and be like, "What was that? Is that a moose? Is that a bear?" Wait for it. That ain't a moose moving because I don't hear no grunting like one, and ain't no bear because it ain't coming towards me. And I'd catch glimpses of it around camp, and I'd be there all alone we would go out there. You can only spend up to 30 days in the national woods, and we would 30 days at a time every summer. And so like during that 30 days, I saw it out of the corner of my eye and creeping around our camp at least 4 more times. We would go out there hiking a bunch.
And is that pretty much it with all of that?
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so let's go back to your first one. Help me. Please help me out of here. Please help me get home. That's something you said to the effect of that.
Yeah.
About how long after did you say that? Did you
about 15
see
minutes?
So about 15 minutes later, all of a
15
sudden,
minutes of me screaming my eyes out, bawling my eyes out, screaming for help.
and then
I asked my dad and the previous property owner and the guy's property I was on if they had ever placed anything like that in the creek bottom. All 3 said no.
So my question is about after you said that, about how long was it before you saw that Bigfoot peek around the corner or peek around the tree?
I was crying in about 15 minutes. Yeah, about 15 minutes when I started panicking the most, and I really got panicked. I had no clue where I was at. First time I ever been out in the woods alone.
And you were in the creek bottom, or were you coming out?
I was all along the creek, and then I went down into the bottom. And as I climbed up over the bank, that's when I established my footing. That's when I saw it.
And about how far from where you were at to where that tree was?
About 10 yards.
Okay.
It was big.
So about
I thought maybe it was a squirrel trying to come around the tree.
About how long was that interaction, that sighting?
What was that?
So
Sorry.
how long were you guys making eye contact?
Oh, I made eye contact with him about 2 seconds. All he did was peek around the tree and then bam.
And then you said he slapped the side of the tree?
Yeah, hit it with something hard. Yeah. And it scared me straight running the other way. It sent me skedaddling.
And you believe that he was probably doing that to get you back down into the creek bottom.
Yeah.
And the way he wanted you to go so you could see that pyrite.
Oh yeah. Okay. Because there's no other reason for those arrows to be there. I asked my dad, the owner of the land that I was on, and the previous owner of the land that was my dad's land. They all 3 were deer hunters, and they all 3 said no, they did not put markings out there like that.
Okay. Did you feel that he was following you as you were following those
I, I was a kid. No, not really. I was
No,
loop-de-loo out there, just lollygagging. That's how I got lost. I wasn't
no, no, no,
nowhere at
no.
all.
I'm not talking about before. I'm talking about after he made
After he
contact with you.
followed me, like, did he follow
Do,
me home?
do you think
He
he
possibly
followed
did.
you?
I do not
Okay,
know.
okay,
My dog didn't give me any signs that he was. We were pretty much set down the creek following those home. And
okay.
it turned out I was on a completely different branch of the creek. It finally led me to the proper creek bottom that I needed to be on. That I was like, oh crap, I know where I know where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now let's go ahead and talk about the Des Moines River. It was you and your dad, and what drew your attention to whatever it was coming towards you guys?
it was the fact that it was just like right there, like because like you know how Mars cuts across the sky at night.
Hmm.
We saw Mars cut across, and then about 20 minutes later, we saw something else cut across, and then it started coming right up the river at us. And this is before drones, really. This is before any low flying planes along the Des Moines.
So did
Like
you at any
it
time
drew our
hear
attention. Huh?
at any time did you hear it flapping its wings or anything
It
like
was as
that?
silent as an owl.
Okay. All right. Um, about how long did you see this thing? Because you said it flew over you and then
Yeah,
up
as we were floating on the boat.
and then went up and perched on a tree.
Well,
Eh,
it came up the river and then perched on a tree.
yeah.
And then that's when my dad untied and we started floating down because he was like, what just landed in the tree that's glowing? We both got curious and we started floating down the river. And that's when it flew back from bank to bank over our heads.
And about how long total was this sighting from the first time you saw it?
About 20 to 30 minutes long.
Okay. Wow.
Because we were sitting there a good while watching it fly around above the river. It would cut circles, go in circles above the river. It would come down low, and then it would come back up the river some, and then it would like make paths on it, and then it landed in the tree. That's when my dad's like, "We got to investigate. Like, we got to check this out
And about
because
what
it's
time of
confusing." He's like, "What is that? Is it a UFO? What is it?"
about what time at night was this? Because you said
This
you
was
had
midnight, 1 o'clock.
okay.
Yeah, middle of the night. We were out running diddy pools, and we had tied off to just do a little fishing.
Mhm. All right, let's talk about the one that kept your hand shaking. Let's talk about the gnomes.
Yeah, those little
Okay,
guys.
so you might want to turn the volume up so you can hear me a little bit.
I can hear you.
So, okay, so how many of you guys were there? How many you and your buddies? How many?
Me, my two little brothers, and my friend.
So you had four of you. And again, you guys were taking these rocks and you were trying to build a dam up so you could build yourself a little pool. I've done that hundreds of times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um, so you made like to make yourself like a little swimming hole. Now, about how long were you doing that? And
Oh,
then,
we were well into like a couple hours of work.
okay, so
Yeah.
he throws this pebble. Before the pebble hit the water, did you have a sense that there was something around you?
Well, it got
Or
quiet, but it was just weird at like how quiet it was too. Because like even kind of like the mosquitoes went away.
really?
Yeah.
Now, describe the first one in better detail because you said the top of his head came up to about your knee,
Yeah.
and are you talking
Like
about
he
your
had like he was kind of bald, like right here in the front, and he had like longer hair here on the sides. But like his nose was so hooked and beaked, like he looked
okay?
like he a hawk or an eagle just staring at you, but it was a man.
Mhm.
Like
And what
the
was he
best way
wearing?
to describe it was like an angry hawk, but with a man face staring at you. Yeah,
What kind of clothes was he wearing?
he was wearing rabbit fur and like
Okay.
red squirrel fur.
I mean, did it look like defined breeches on him and a coat, or just
It just looked like he had it with like cut a hole in the pelt and threw it over his head.
okay? And you said the other three because you climbed up over that rock
Yeah, the
pile,
only way
so to
past him
speak,
was over that bank. Yeah,
and you saw. Do you think that the other 3, do you think it was his family, his wife, and maybe 2 kids?
Yep. That's why he was so defensive.
And you said he
Because
was
then this
shouting.
creek that we were in also has small fish in it, like green sunfish and
Mhm.
like larger creek chubs. So, like, yeah,
And you
I
said he
don't know
was
if
like,
it's a food source for him or something.
no, was he you said he was yelling at you.
Like it was chittering like a monkey. Like if you
Okay.
were to hear like a capuchin monkey go off or whatever they're
Yep.
called, that's exactly what he kind of sounded like.
Okay. And
Just more guttural.
what did the other 3? What were they doing when you guys came up over that little hill?
Hiding.
Oh, they were hiding, and you
They
saw
were
them,
hiding. Yeah. We spooked them. That's why they ran. Yeah.
and they ran off like little people ran off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did
Little
the
people
other
like
one?
they were tall as my knee, man.
And what did the first one do when you
First
he re-
one, we followed after him, but we took off after it. But when we were standing there and when he threw that pebble, like first we were messing in the creek, I heard chittering like a monkey. Looked at my friend, was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "I don't know. I heard maybe it was a bird. I didn't hear anything." And we heard it again, and this time when we both looked up, like he had thrown a rock right at us, and it landed right in the water right in front of us.
hmm. What did your little brothers do?
They panicked and ran the other way. I had to tell them to come back because we had to go up the other way to go home. Like that's the
Okay.
wrong way. Like they were freaking out.
That's one of the coolest encounters I've heard, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the the Colorado incident, because you guys, when he sent me an email, when Josh sent me an email, the the subject of his email was Sasquatch trashed our camp. And I'm like, what, or destroyed our camp? It was one of the two. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He that's the subject line.
My
And
camp was
so
destroyed by a vengeful Bigfoot.
yeah, something like that. I'm like, what? Okay, let's get this guy on here. So you guys, you and what, 3 of your buddies?
Yep, 3 of them.
And this, you're about 29 at the time this happened.
Yep.
So you go out to the Roosevelt National Forest, and you guys decide, "Hey, we're gonna camp out here for the max time we can, 30 days." You guys set up your camp, and you guys doing some exploring. You guys come across what, you kind of got an idea of what's going on here. Okay, guys, these were purposely placed here.
Yeah.
This is not just a natural thing that happened. These were carried from someplace and constructed here for a purpose. And you are like, let's get out of here. And your 3 buddies are like, no, no, no,
Let's just knock it over.
let's be jerks and go ahead and just knock it over. You know how you see those people that take these giant boulders that have been in the place for probably a millennium, and they decide to roll them down a hill and destroy something.
Yeah.
You see people like do that with like monuments in some of these national parks. I saw videos like 3 or 4 years ago where people were kicking over like these wonders of the world, something that's been up there for thousands of years, and some jerk wants to come across and kick it over. But as you're telling them, you guys knock it off. You said that I got this feeling that we're being watched. Now,
Yeah.
did you look
And it
around at
was,
all?
huh?
Did you look around at all to say, hmm?
Oh yeah, I looked around when I said it. Like I got an eerie feeling something was mad and we shouldn't be there.
And did you
Like
hear anything at all?
no, but like kind of. It was more like in my head of like get out.
Okay. Okay. And so you're like, guys, we need to go. You turn around, you see they've completely destroyed the entire structure, and you guys, you want to get out of there because you know something's up, and these guys are just skipping off like, aha, look what we did. So you
Yeah.
go back, you tear down your first camp because of the bear, and you move
Yep.
to a new location. How close was your new location to where this structure was found?
I know it's supposed to be outside 8 miles from moving out of a bear's territory, but we were just about like a half mile away, but deeper into the woods.
So this structure was about a half a mile away from your first camp.
Yeah, but
And
closer
so,
to the main trail.
okay, so you moved just a half a mile away from your first camp. How close was your second camp to this structure, where this
Second
structure was?
camp, we're basically right up the hill from it, 200
Oh,
yards.
you guys are dumb. You guys are.
I told him that. I
Oh,
don't want to set up here, guys. No, it ain't nothing. That ain't nothing to worry about knocking that over. Like, you're just being paranoid. I
so
ain't no
you
paranoid. Like, come on
so
now. Like, we shouldn't have knocked that over at all.
so you guys set up your camp, set your tents up in a circle, which I've been camping a lot of times, and that's kind of a normal thing. Although I have set my tent off and away from other people's, just for whatever. But so you set your camp up, and was this the first day after you? So you guys, after you set your camp up, did you stay in camp,
This was a
or
few
like you
days
say?
after.
Okay, so a few days after you guys went to town.
Yeah, because I was there alone for a few days. These guys would leave, go run and get supplies, go to normal work and stuff, come back and like stay the night.
Okay,
And I
so
was there just 24/7, kind of
so
always
so
at the camp
you
until at night.
so you while they were gone, you stayed in the camp. This is when you started catching things out of the corner of your eye,
Yeah.
watching. So it is probably safe to say that this thing was observing you guys. It was checking you guys out
Oh, yeah.
just to
And when this
see.
happened, I was a total believer in Bigfoot by then because of my first encounter.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I've watched a lot of stuff with Bigfoot, knew the structures that they could possibly build
yeah.
and everything. And that's why I was like panicking about it. I was like, guys, this is not right. Like it was just off the main trail enough to be hidden. Like you had to walk right up on it to find it. Like there was no other way to find it.
Okay, so you guys go to town. About how far away is town?
8 miles.
8 miles. So you
3 miles
travel
down
eight
the
miles.
trail, 5 miles down peak to peak.
Okay, so you're looking at 16 miles round trip.
Yep.
Okay. About how
Made
long
that
were
on
you
foot
guys
a few
gone?
times.
How long were you guys gone?
Uh, about 4 to 5 hours. I think it was about 4 hours. Yeah,
What
because
time
we
of
had
day
run
was it?
down to town and we ran to the grocery store, grabbed a pizza, sat in the parking lot, ate the pizza. Then around 8 o'clock at night, we head back up to camp and it was already dark, getting dark on the mountainside. And by the time we got back, because we were in a Prius, to top it all off, guys, we were taking a Prius out on these mountain trails, low clearance like this on these rocks, trying to get it out there. But we did it.
So
But yeah, we got out
so
there about 10 o'clock at night and everything was destroyed. Everything was ripped up besides my tent. Like everyone
what
else's tent was ripped up.
okay, number one.
The supply tent, we had two other tents, a supply tent, a storage tent, and then the other three campers and mine.
Okay,
So there
so
was 6 tents in total.
without using no words, what was your first thought when you arrived back at camp?
Something's wrong.
What were the other guys's? What was their reaction?
When they saw it,
Yeah.
what the heck? What is this? The bear came back and got us again? Me? This doesn't look right. Like that wrapper has the food in it. That's got food in it. That can still got food in it. None of
Yeah.
the food's been touched.
Yeah. And if a bear's coming in, they're driven by food. They're driven by hunger. That's what they're going for. Yeah, are they going to trash things? Absolutely they're going to trash things. But they're doing it because they're looking for food. And you said your buddy's tent had food in it and none of
Had
that
food in
food
it,
was
yeah.
touched.
Cliff bars, and a can of SpaghettiOs, and
And you
some
said
and like a box of Fruit Loops, I think it was.
and nothing was touched.
Nothing of that. None of it.
Man.
We
So
found some food wrappers down over past a rock though that were from camp, Like
Yeah.
he probably sat down there, ate a snack, and watched us react.
Yeah, probably. You know.
Yeah,
So about how long after? Well, one, what did the other guys do? You slept. Did you sleep in your tent, or did you guys pack up and leave?
they all slept in the Prius, so we cleaned up in the morning. I slept in my tent.
They slept in a little Prius.
Yeah, the three of them.
I got no words for that, man. I don't. I mean, I do, but I like my channel, so I'm.
We were getting the Prius out into places that people in the Jeeps were like, "How'd you get out here? We got stuck just over there."
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And again, all of these encounters, bro, they are super super cool, and I I can't wait to get this thing out there. I mm, I'll talk to you off air. I'll talk to you off air. But hey, man, do you have anything else
Not
cryptid
that I could
related?
think of. Huh?
Cryptid related.
Cryptid related?
Yeah.
My dad and my brother possibly had an encounter, like while they were raccoon hunting,
Okay.
coming
Let's
back
hear it.
up through the fields. They
What?
both told me that it shook them and made them run for home. My dad, I never seen him panic like that.
Well, what
Like
happened?
they were walking through the field, they said, and my dad had happened to just pop the spotlight back on without the cap and turn his head, and that's when he saw these two glowing eyes about 7 foot up in the air in the middle of the field that nothing should have been floating like there. And then there's a bunch of tall grass there and everything, and when he turned his head back, it was gone. But like it sent him like running into my brother, which sent him running too. But he said he caught a glimpse of it in Dad's lights.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell
That
you
was
right
on the
now.
same property as the one that led me home and possibly took our deer.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You're saying that how your dad's deer was missing. So my thing is this, you know, I'm almost willing to put a dollar to a dime. That's one of my favorite sayings, a dollar to a dime. So it means if I bet you and I lose, I pay you a dollar. And if I win, you pay me a dime, dollar to a dime. But
Yeah.
um I don't think it just left. I think it dropped down. And if it left the area, it left like a spider crawl. That's what I'm guessing.
The Bigfoot?
Yep,
Yeah.
that your dad saw. Because
Yeah, it had to have.
1 second it's there, next second it's not
It's
there.
gone. And he heard something moving and he kept moving. That's
Yeah,
what he said.
that's crazy.
Yeah. This was
Well, man,
that we stopped having encounters once they opened a strip mine on the old mine spot.
really.
Yeah.
And see here now here that's really really strange. Not strange. It makes sense though. It's possible that they were using those old mines for shelter or a way of moving, from one area to another.
Yeah.
Because, I
That's
mean,
what I thought. It was
unless
living in the mines up there by the silos.
yeah, and then, who knows? Those mines could have been connected in some place. Who knows? You know, but
Oh, they are. They are.
yeah.
I've been down in them.
So there's a way.
They're all
There's a way.
interconnected. There's like
Yeah,
4 entrances you can come out of.
yeah. There's a way for them to move around freely and not worry about anybody ever seeing them. So,
And there was
man,
also 2 dead tunnel entrances too.
to what?
2 dead tunnel entrances that they shut down from using it because they were caving in on them. So they blocked them off enough, but you could still climb over the gravel to get in there.
Yeah. Well, that's dumb. They should have just pushed a bunch of gravel into the entrance,
Yeah,
stopping from people from going in there. But that's common sense. I mean, that who knows? I mean, if I was a mine boss and I was running a mine and I'm like, oh, these are caving in, they're unsafe. Let's just push a ton of rock. Let's get that bulldozer over here. Let's get that, that D10 over here and just shove as much into this entrance as we can. That way people have to dig their way in. It's just not going to be easy. Let's just climb over. So, man, I
yeah.
had a lot of fun talking to you tonight, man. I really do. I really did.
Appreciate it. I had fun
And
talking to you.
yeah, man. So, hey, just hang out in the green room for a second, and I'll be right with you after the show, okay?
All right.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Yep.
You guys, that's Josh, man. I'm going to tell you right now, those are some great encounters. I always love hearing about Bigfoot. Bigfoot is like my number one cryptid. I love Bigfoot. Number two is the Kushtaka, aka the Otter Man out of Southeast Alaska. You guys, it's not often I get to hear about a gnome, and it's not often that I get to hear about a flying cryptid. I'm still waiting to have a Mothman encounter on the show. Now this one really, really has me intrigued, and I'm gonna look it up. You know, a glowing horn. I mean, who knows? It's not any raptor I know of that hunts fish at night. There probably are. I just don't know of any. I'm not saying I'm an expert on it. So, but you guys, that's the show for tonight. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Again, you guys, if you guys had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, there's my email address. Drop me an email at thecryptopodcast72@gmail.com. Again, thecryptopodcast72@gmail.com. And I'm not going to get out of here without saying it. You guys, as my buddy Josh from Mysteries Unknown always says, stay prayed up. And as I always like to say, remember, a legend begins with a sighting. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you on the next show.
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?